Hello quilting friends. Well, today I wanted to show you how to work with the quarter square triangles that we're making for block 10 of We Can Build a Snowman. A little bit tricky for the trimming, and I have a couple tips for the piecing, so I thought I'd just go ahead and make you a video. Now, to get that far, we started with our half square triangles and then our plain block that we drew a diagonal line down the middle of. And to make the quarter square triangles, I want to place this not so that the diagonals are going the same way, but across from each other like this, so that when I sew down a 1/4 inch on each side of this drawn line and cut those apart, I end up with 2 quarter square triangles, which we can then use to make our quilt block. But the size here is too large. I need to trim it to 2.5 inches. So in order to do that, I'm using my Creative Grid ruler. I really like these rulers because they have, I don't know if you can see, kind of a grip built into the ruler, so they don't slide nearly as easily, which is handy, especially when you have some bulky seams that you have to trim around. Alright, so I want this 2.5 inches, and I have to figure out what half of 2.5 inches is, and that's 1.25 inches. So I want that 1.25 inch mark to go where all of my seams come together. And then I want this diagonal line to meet along the diagonal. And the other one I'm going to pay attention to is down here at the corner. I want the 2.5 mark to come to the point where these two fabrics meet. So I have everything looking good there. I'm going to go ahead and put some pressure on the ruler and trim off the first 2 sides. Okay, then I just need to turn the block around this way, line up that diagonal line again at my 1.25 inch mark. Okay, and this time you will notice that I also have my 2.5 inch line is right on those edges, so I know when I make these last 2 trims I am going to be exactly the size I need for making the block. Okay, and we got some pretty nice sharp corners there. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'll get myself together here and then show you the next step of putting this particular part of the block together. Alright, so I'm back with my trimmed units here, my quarter square triangles, and we have pressed it so that when we put them together, these long seams are going in the opposite directions, so they're going to want to lock nicely together. But these two up here at the top, see how they're both going the same way? That's going to be a little trickier. So my little tip then, what I like to do is I have a little glue pen here, like a glue stick, but this one has refillable cartridges I can add, and I'm just going to put some glue right along the edge, just some dots of glue here, right where, especially where I want to hold those corners. And I'm going to lay this one in, smooshing it right in there to the, so those 2 seams are locked, and then make sure that my 2 up here are lined up. And I'm just going to press the edges together where I have the glue dots, and then it is ready to sew. Move my paper out of the way. Let's see if I can get the camera so adjusted here where you can see what I do. It's a little bright, so I'm gonna do it for you. Okay, so now I'm just going to sew my 1/4 inch seam right along that edge. And hopefully when I open it up, everything will be nicely lined up. Look at that. So when I press this, I'm going to press it to one side. I have my nice sharp point here and my nice sharp point down here, which you can't see because I'm out of the camera. There we go. So I'm going to hold it in place for you so you can see it. So the little glue trick just really helps to hold things in place, tricky places like that when you need to sew them. So there's my tip, and now the quarter square triangle units that we're using in our quilt are ready to go. So I hope this helped you out with some little tips about how to get that section of the block to work. If you have any questions, always feel free to email me or send me a message on Facebook or a chat on Facebook, whatever, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. So until next time, happy quilting!